everybody, welcome to IGL Capsule special mini-series, and this episode is actually the first episode in 2022, and today we are inviting our special guest, Amira from our Innovation Center. Welcome, Amira!
Hello everyone, I'm Amira. Happy to be here, happy to be out of the lab for a little bit.
Yes, and this episode will be debunking popular myths. Can you give us a brief explanation of what is water spot and how do they form?
Yes, of course. So water spots are these white stains that gets deposited onto your car surfaces. So that could be window or glass or any type of painted surfaces really. So these are coming from your water. So it could be your tap water, so from washing the car, you didn't necessarily diligently dry off your car, or that could be from sprinkler system, could be from the rain, or shout out to my Midwest peeps out there, so that could be from the road salt that gets put on the snow in the winter. So these, in these waters, there's different types of minerals that can be deposited onto the surface. So once the water evaporates off, it'll leave these minerals onto your car surface, and over time it'll start etching on the surface, meaning it'll kind of eat away into your clear coat a little bit. So these are there are different types of minerals. So from the tap water, they're usually limestones, so calcium or magnesium carbonates. These are usually not very soluble in water, so meaning even if it's freshly deposited, it'll be really hard to just go in with water to kind of clean this off or wipe it off. And sometimes even if you leave it for a little bit on the surface, it might not even come off with car wash. So these would be these types of stain. We would require a special type of cleaner to remove the water spots very efficiently.
My homemade water spot can remove all water spots. Is it true?
When we talk about homemade remedies, they're usually chemicals, chemical cleaners, sorry. So there's a few popular ones, so they're usually more acid base. So because some of these minerals are usually kind of in the alkaline region, so you can go in with an acid and then that would react with the alkaline, and that's how you clean that. So the more popular homemade remedy is a mixture of vinegar or dilution of vinegar in water. So vinegars contains about 5 to 8% typically of acetic acid. So like I said, it's an acid-based cleaner. So when you dilute this with a lot of water, because hopefully you're not just pouring vinegar onto the surface of your car.
Of course not.
Yes. These would be a really dilute, so a really weak cleaner for these types of stains. So if you were to have a newer, fresher stain, then yes, it would probably be effective. But if you've left it for a little bit, for me personally, unfortunately, I only really wash my car once a month. Even that, this would not come off with vinegar and water. So you would need something a little bit stronger than some homemade remedy.
Moving on to our myth number 2. I can use with acid cleaners to remove water spots safely on paint.
Right. So now you're going to the other extreme on the scale. So before this you were using too weak of a cleaner, and now you're using potentially too strong of a cleaner for a painted surface. So wheel acids, I think it should be clued you in that the secret sauce to this cleaner is that it is acid base. And so kind of addressing, is any type of acid going to be efficient in cleaning, especially on painted surface? The answer is no. So wheel acids are designed to account for problems that you might encounter when you're cleaning wheels and not necessarily paints. So if you have like a really hard clear coat, you might be able to get away with using wheel acid cleaners, but if you have like a really soft clear coat, it's definitely a no-no. I was also looking into this question and saw and went on to Google it, and some of the top searches were just horror stories about using wheel acid cleaners to clean water spots on painted surface. So really do not recommend using wheel acid cleaners.
Alright, if not using wheel acid cleaners, so what should we use?
Right, so we have, funnily enough, a product that caters specifically to this problem. So we have a ECOCLEAN Delete. So ECOCLEAN Delete is formulated to remove water spots on painted and coated surfaces. So especially we have extensively tested this on our EcoCoat series. This would be the safest and most efficient way to clean water spots off of painted surface.
I need to neutralize acid by using alkaline cleaners. Is it true?
Alright, so good question. So before I go into neutralizing acid with alkali, what does that mean exactly? So I'll explain a little bit about the pH scale. So a pH scale is a scale that measures acidity and alkalinity of a solution. So the pH scale goes from 0 to 14, so with the middle 7 being neutral, so that is usually associated with water. So on the one extreme you have a pH of less than 7, or as our product Delete, the pH of 1. These are acidic in nature, and on the other half of the scale, anything above 7 is, for example, our EcoClean Multi, is considered alkaline. And so what does that mean to neutralize acid with base or with alkaline? So what that means is just when you have an acid, usually very corrosive in nature, so what you do to kind of reduce this effect or remove this effect completely, so you're making it somewhat harmless to you and to the environment, is you neutralize it with alkaline. So this would react together to form a harmless, usually neutral salt and water. So I'm going to wipe off some of the water spots here with our EcoClean Delete. So what I'm wiping, as you can see, it's very efficiently cleaning that water spots off. And then I'm now going to go in with just a damp cloth. Alright, so I'm just going to wipe off this surface a couple times. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm testing the surface with a pH paper. So this is what we normally use in the lab to measure if something is basic or if something is acidic. So it goes by a color scale. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the pH paper on, and as you can see here, the pH of that surface is now at about 6 or 7. So pretty much neutral. You have now wiped off the acids from the cleaning that you've done on the surface. So the answer to that question, do you need to? No, you don't. So what you're doing when you cleaning it off with alkaline, you now have some alkaline solution deposited onto the surface. So you definitely don't want anything of any extreme pH to settle there. So you probably then need to either wipe it off because you don't want that to dwell either.
And because of this, it brings to our myth number 4. It needs to be left on to see its effect. What do you think?
Yeah, so as you can see, probably a little bit of a clue from when I was cleaning that, I literally just went with a cloth that has a little bit of Delete on it and just wipe them off. So if you have one of those tougher to remove water spots, so ones that have been there for quite some time, you can repeat that motion of cleaning with the cloth for a couple more times, and it will efficiently remove it. But you definitely don't want it to dwell, because like I said, this is an acidic product, so it's naturally corrosive. You definitely don't want any of that to just sit on the surface of your car.
So the next myth is one of the most common ones we heard of, which is spraying is the best way to apply it. And what do you think?
Right. Yeah, so it would be very convenient to be able to spray. Unfortunately, we really do not recommend spraying this product. So as you can see, it comes with a flip cap. So that should kind of clue you into maybe not using it with a sprayer. So there are two reasons why this is not the recommended way of use. So number one is, like I mentioned, it's very acidic. You don't want it to dwell on the surface of the car, and you definitely don't want to maybe unnecessarily leave it on the surface, especially on the spots that you don't want this to end up. So glass, for example. So with spraying, there's a potential of overspraying this, so it might end up at a surface that you don't want it to end up. And point number two, which is arguably the more important point, is safety.
Safety.
Yes, so this is acidic, so you definitely don't want to be breathing this in or having this end up on your skin or in your eyes. So there's a greater potential that when you spray it, because now the vapors are in the air and kind of surrounding you. And so again, just a reminder that this is corrosive, it is acidic. So definitely recommend against using it with the sprayer.
And that's about it for today. And thank you, Amira, for sharing your insightful session. And we hope this session helps our IGL family understand that water spots and water spot removers and how they work and everything informations. So for more info, always go to our blog post and email us at marketing@iglcoatings.com. And that's about it, everybody. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, comment below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell, and we'll see you in the next video.